Yeah. So how are you doing, Marge?
Good.
Oh, good. That's a good report. And you just had a fabulous party for your 90th birthday. Happy
I
birthday.
did. We've been celebrating all week. We just had the final, it was our company, our staff, and we have about twice a month we have a Zoom meeting, which Terry and I also go to. And so that was our regular meeting, and they celebrated my birthday. So I am finished. I am well and truly 90 years old. Yes.
How can you be 90 when the rest of us are only 70?
I
Hi there,
don't know.
Terry. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, who are those cute little girls in back of you?
Okay, those are granddaughters. Actually, they're in their 30s now. But we had a shower for Maggie. This is the youngest one because she got married in September, and so we had background pictures.
Oh,
And so
very
this was
cute.
my background picture. Yeah.
Very cute. Oh, that's
They
very
did a
cute.
really cute shower. It was fun on Zoom, and it was all over the United States.
I have
Hi, oh, it's
there
Walt.
is
Hi
Walt.
there. Oh
Oh,
my
Walt.
gosh.
You've been to hell and back since we last saw
He
you.
broke his hip, you guys.
Well, it's been challenging.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see you.
I'm going back to choir for the first time tonight.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Fantastic.
Are you walking again? Are you using a walker?
I'm still using a walker
Yeah, yeah,
and trying to be more proficient with a cane.
yeah. It's
It,
tough coming back the older we get.
it's a challenge, but I'm not I'm not planning on mowing my lawn in the near future. How
No.
I managed to get into this bind, the mower ran away with me.
Yeah, well, when I heard about it, I just cringed because it's exactly the sort of thing that Terry and I have been trying desperately to avoid, is to do something like injure yourself where you're down and out.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's really bad.
So are you home now, Walt?
I'm home. Yeah, I was overnight in the emergency room, operated on a Sunday, and discharged from the hospital 3 days later to a rehab, in a rehab for 2 weeks, and that was a very useful time. And then I've been home since essentially mid October.
Okay. Well, we missed you at the reunion. We thought of you.
Yeah, well, I had hoped to get out there.
Yeah,
I know. We counted on you.
it's too difficult when you've got that kind of injury going on.
Well, that's no question. I was in no position to travel.
No. And the same with us, Walt. Terry and I didn't get there either. And, for us, it would be much easier, but there's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Jack, have you had hip surgery?
Me?
I had what's called a hemi, or it was hip surgery, but it wasn't hip replacement.
Oh, really?
Oh,
It somehow they could still use the major. There's a name for it, but it's not the total hip.
so they put in screws, is what they
Right.
did. Yeah.
They put in.
Well, there's a name for everything.
Yes, there is. It is. I have it written down somewhere, but I have not got it yet in my head.
Well, is someone staying with you at the house now?
No, I live alone,
Okay.
and the major challenge was being able to get up and down stairs, and a week after or so after I was home, my refrigerator in the kitchen of I don't know how many years died. I have a refrigerator in the basement, an older one,
Oh,
but we had to transfer down and order a new refrigerator. But in the 2 weeks before that was delivered, I was going down to the basement and having to carry up various
Oh,
refrigerator items.
oh,
So it gave me more practice going up and downstairs.
and Walt, have you said before your bedroom is upstairs?
Yes, it's on the second floor.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so I've been able to negotiate stairs pretty well at this point.
You need one of those little elevator lift things.
Oh,
Well, my children were exploring that, but I don't want to have more physical disruption in the house. I want to be able to walk upstairs, and I can.
Yeah,
good. Yeah, as long as you can. You do it as long as you can.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Mel's coming on.
Well, Walt, I'm right in there with you. I had a hip replacement on September 14th. Got out 4 days later, did 10 days worth of rehab, got home, decided I could tie my own shoelace, and I was back in the hospital that night because
Oh,
I
God.
popped the thing out.
Oh, God.
And the doctor had a whole bunch of choice words for me. But he
Yes.
had a
We
couple of
All
linebackers
right,
from
sweetheart.
Stanford
Good
there
luck.
to help him reset my hip without surgery. And that was my introduction to fentanyl.
Ah,
Oh, good. There's the Fernandezes from Hawaii. Yay. And Mel, you're here. Good.
All of you.
Pouring rain here. I mean, torrential downpours.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Wow.
my gosh.
3 days.
We're getting your California weather.
Okay, that's
I
a
have-
good thing. It's a
I
good
have
thing.
friends flying there tomorrow for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a good thing because we've had a drought and we've had all these fires, the Hainan and other islands too. So that's okay.
You really need it. You need a good drenching. Yeah.
Well, California is really getting its share.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit. Right
But not
here,
much.
right here at Stanford, the sky is blue today, but there's fluffy clouds that float by. Every morning I've had like wet on the driveway, but nothing really heavy.
Sprinkles. We've had
Yeah,
sprinkles here
Yeah,
in the morning, and then it's been clear. Yeah.
yeah,
Or at night. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So Mel, how's the weather where you are?
It's delightful. It's really nice. I was in the pool this morning for Aquafit, and I'm now having lights put on outside on our fence for Christmas.
Fantastic. Glad you got someone to do that. I have to get someone to do mine this year.
Well, we just put it up and one string doesn't work, so I have to figure that out yet.
Well, speaking of Christmas lights, we're in the apartment business, and every year we put Christmas lighting up on our apartment buildings. But it started in the 1989 earthquake. Our buildings were in the Marina District of San Francisco, and I was putting two buildings back together. We were the first, one of them was the first building in the Marina District to get electricity. And I couldn't stand it, so I put some bright Christmas lights up.
Oh, stop.
About 5 weeks after the earthquake, and it was like a lighthouse in the middle of a dark sea. So this is the 35th year we're putting lights up on our buildings in the marina, and strangely enough, the marina is well lighted with holiday lights, but we're the only apartment building that has lighting on the building.
Well, good for you.
Family homes.
Did I hear you say that San Francisco finally got electricity in 1989?
Well, yes, in the Marina District, that was true. And I don't know, what is it? The Marina District is what, 500 acres, 1,000 acres of residential property. And that was the blackest hole in the world at the time.
It was.
Well, it's all
scary.
on Phil, I think, isn't it? All on landfill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on landfill, which was, it had a lot of what they call liquefaction. We learned that
Yeah.
word,
Right.
liquefaction, yeah. It-
Welcome
it-
to Anne.
so it liquefied, and then as the ground stopped shaking, it settled up again, but the damage had been done. Lots of tilting and buildings going down. Several buildings came all the way down. It was pretty
Welcome.
bad.
Welcome to Anne and to Mary and to Marilyn. Donnie,
Look at your whole
Hey.
bunch. This is
Wow.
great.
this is
Where
wonderful.
is Anne?
And Dorcas is coming on. That's good.
Is that you, Anne?
It is, but I can't figure out how to find you guys.
I can't
Oh,
believe
well,
it.
we can see you.
Oh,
There's-
We see you fine.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
I'd
what
like
it
to
is.
see you guys. I caught a glimpse of you and then you all disappeared.
Oh my
Oh, no.
goodness.
well, maybe it's better that way.
You
No,
know,
Okay.
I love technology when it works, but I couldn't get you on my iPad, and I'm going to go try it on my desktop computer. Maybe
right,
I'll get you
and
there. I'll try
at
that.
our age,
Okay. We'll
at
see
our
you in a
age,
minute.
we don't
Ann.
like to hear those words. You suddenly disappeared.
We see you fine.
Yeah.
Well, I might not last long today. I have the worst virus I have ever had in my life. It's not COVID, but I have been so sick this week.
Oh,
So I'll stay for a little while probably and may leave. It's
Oh.
just so debilitating.
Was that RSV?
I don't know what it is, but it's not COVID.
RSV is really nasty. RSV is worse than COVID.
Better not to know what it is.
Donnie, you've been well?
Yeah, knock on wood, every day.
I'll
Yeah.
knock on wood for you.
You travel all over the world, I know. So
Yeah, well, it's been busy lately, but yeah, just got back from Pacific Grove, not the world, just the perfect place in life where I'd love to live.
it's gorgeous.
Two of my daughters went with me, and they're both playing the lottery, so we can afford a house on the water there. So I said, it'd be just my luck to win it when I'm 90, when I won't be around to enjoy it. But anyway, yeah, so far so good.
Well, I guess if anybody our age wins the lottery, it's better to take cash now.
Yes, I don't think of.
You mean not
spread it out
installments?
over the years.
Yeah, very
Don't
wise.
spread that payment out over many years. Give it to me
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Now, how many of us went to the reunion? Patty, I know you did, and
Donnie,
I
you
did.
did.
Carolyn.
Yep, Dottie and Patty and
That's it.
Julie is
Oh,
Emily said Julian was going to be on today.
Yes. And Sally Cannell was trying to get on, but she's in DC traveling around with her daughter. So
Oh,
she won't be on.
Did you hear from Carol Wood, Pat?
I did hear from Carol Wood. I've talked with her. She was supposed to come, but she decided to not do that.
But I mean today. Today.
Yes, I heard from Carol.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Jim, you were at the reunion. What was the best part of the reunion for you?
The get-togethers at lunchtime.
Good, and I hear that your suggestion to have baseball caps with our year embroidered on the top was a huge success.
No, that was the committee. That wasn't me.
Patty, you
Yeah.
had a few other people. I just looked up your report. You had Charles Layton and Sally Hamrick Canoli, and Don Price was there, and Dr. Stephen G, and Bill Friedrich, and Jim Madison, and remember Juliana Holwell Pickrell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the Pickrells,
Big group.
the Pickrells, I think will be on today. Emily's
Yeah.
going to help her mom.
it was kind of funny. The help, what do we call them? Our assistants, our daughters or whatever, formed a group, and they all became good friends. I think they'll all
they all want to go back to the reunion next year. My daughter said,
That's wonderful. Marilyn, our kids call themselves our handlers.
our handlers. Well, that's probably what
That's funny.
I'll have to
It
tell.
makes we get to travel, we get to go out to dinner, we get to go everywhere, but we have to have our handlers with us.
Handlers, yes,
That
yes.
makes you stars.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
And
Jim
they
said, came
actually,
over and he
they
said,
raise
my
their
daughter-
hands and vie for the opportunity. So it's like, okay, I love
yeah.
I'm looking at the screen and I wouldn't believe I'm looking at 92-year-old people. We all look great.
you look great.
I'm only 91.
I received an email today from one of my high school classmates who said those of us who were born before 1946, I think she said, and are still alive, are part of the 1% of the population from that era who are still alive.
Wow.
It went on to talk about the fact that we are part of the 1% of the population who can remember things like the Depression and, or at least the end of it, and rationing in World War II and a bunch of others, listening to the radio instead of television and blah, blah, blah.
And picking up a telephone and having the operator say number, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or picking up the telephone and have 4 other people pick up the phone at the same time.
Yeah. Party line.
The party line.
Oh, and having dials, telephone numbers that began with 2 letters and part of a
Mhm.
word.
Sycamore. I was in Pasadena, Sycamore.
I'd like to tell you about an experience I've just experienced here. Pitzer College is around our place here, and we have every other year they have a class where they come and interview residents of our retirement area, and we meet for 10 weeks and go through our whole lives with them, and they print it up. So yesterday I got this. Can you see that?
Oh, the life
Wow.
story of Mel Butler.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they did the whole thing from childbirth on up to now, and printed it up for us. It's all in there so nicely. It was a good experience. I got to know a lady, a girl whose family's from Iran, and they live in San Diego. The father is a concierge doctor in San Diego. It was a wonderful experience. And I didn't have to write it myself. That's good.
You were the star.
Still singing in the choir?
In the Temple Choir, I retired from the Cathedral Choral Society because I wanted to leave before I was asked to. But I've been singing in the Temple Choir this is my 55th year. We sang better.
And where is that?
It's Washington, D.C.
Oh,
Right.
wonderful.
It's wonderful. Your voice still carries.
Did any of you do any singing at Stanford? Like at the spring sing or?
Yes. All
Yeah.
that had that.
I was in the choir and the University Singers.
I
Wow.
was in the choir as well,
Herbert Nanny
right?
Yes.
did
Yes.
the Madrigal.
He was the
Singers.
organist.
Well, he also led the University Singers, which was a
Right.
madrigal group,
Right.
Yeah.
and a lovely guy. And I can remember we for unto us a child is born, for unto us a son is given, and his name shall be Duncan. That was the name of his son who had just been born.
You.
I took organ lessons from Herbert Nanny on the big organ before they put in the second one.
Wow.
That was some organ.
Yeah, it still is there. They still use it.
The reunion came just a week after they had a book launch for a large 400 plus page book on the history of Wally Sterling as president of Stanford. From
Really?
began he was appointed or elected in the April of before we showed up on campus. So he basically was as he told our class in that fall, he was a freshman the same time we were. And he was president up until 1968, and in a very transformative period of Stanford. The book is fascinating. I was asked to comment on a chapter that had to do with his relationship with athletics, and most particularly with UCLA and USC, which was very similar to the recent days in which they left the Pac-12 and destroyed the Pac-12. But so I have a copy. I was given a copy in exchange for having made comments on the chapter. And it's a fascinating book in case any of you are in a read and want to read about Wally. He was.
What's the title?
Stanford's Wallace Sterling, Portrait of a Presidency, 49 to 68.
Oh, I'm right into that book. I think it's remarkably well written. And I just read with great interest the history of the medical center's move to Stanford, the development of the industrial park and the shopping center. That book is just wonderful reading, I think.
It's called Stanford's Wallace Sterling.
Yes.
Portrait of a Presidency.
Yeah. So if you really want to know more about detailed history of our period there in the 50s, it's just a great book.
Fascinating picture of Sterling in his uniform as a football player when he was in college.
Did anybody go to the last big game?
No. Thankfully not.
Well, it just reminds me that I was at Stanford for 5 years and never saw Stanford win a big game. But we went to the Rose Bowl in spite of that.
We had 2 losses and 2 ties in the 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And still we got to the Rose Bowl.
Oh, that was such a game.
With a 93-yard touchdown run by Bob Mathias.
Bob Mathias, yeah.
Did you go to the game, somebody, and get rained on?
No, we've got 4 seasons tickets. We've had them forever. And finally, this year is the last straw. All the stuff that's going on and the ridiculous new scheduling. It's like, yeah, that's the end. They just sent us, I don't know if you knew, Terry, they just sent us like a, hey, football's over, but not for next year. Be sure you sign up early and get your ticket. And I thought, yeah, boy, you better start promoting because I don't know if anybody's going to buy tickets.
Don't you want to go to Tallahassee, Marge?
Yeah, sure. Hell no.
Thank you.
It's all about money. You know that, guys. We all know that.
Yeah.
But you don't make any money if you have a terrible team.
No, all we have to do is switch to women's sports.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about the time it's going to take for the athletes to go back and forth and the expelling of energy for the planes, the gasoline, it's awful.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to create, the way they've made it happen, they're going to have to create a whole new department called professional sports department. And these are people that don't really have to go to school for studying. They go there purely to play professional sports and make money for the university so they can fund the other parts of the university. And that, folks, is kind of the truth.
Yeah, actually, the only ones that make money for the university are the football players.
Yeah.
And the basketballs probably break even.
Yeah.
Maybe the women's basketball makes a little money.
Yeah.
We saw a women's volleyball game recently, and that was very exciting, very interesting.
Yeah.
Terrific. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Stanford is in the NCAA playoffs in women's volleyball and in men's soccer and in women's soccer.
Oh, pickleball.
Yes.
It's an international sport.
I think the big mistake is having they can go from one school to the other without a year's elapse between. That's the thing they can go from school to school every year. It's not right.
They could go, actually, Mel, they can go from school to school every year, but unless they can get an okay from the NCAA, if they try to go to the third school, they've got to have an excuse. There's a basketball player at Cal, and Cal is his third school, but the only reason he got an excuse from MC2A without having to sit out a year was that he left his last school because of racial abuse. And the whole idea picking schools not on the basis of either the sport or the academics, but on what you can do for me in NIL.
Well, we have to remember that we are in the student year of Stanford having the first Black athlete, and that was Ed Tucker, who played basketball.
Among other pictures in the Sterling book is an aerial photo showing the campus as it was actually when we first showed up. Crothers Hall, which was the dormitory for graduate men's adjacent to the Encina Commons, was not yet built.
We haven't heard anything from Bill Fernandez.
I was going to contribute the notion that at the commencement, the Hawaiians decided to sing the Hawaiian wedding song in Hawaiian. So boys that were local boys sang the male part. The women's part was sung by David Eldridge, a falsetto. So you had at commencement. So I mentioned that because people talked about singing at Stanford.
Amazing.
Jack Louderbaugh, are you alive up there?
I still am in the state of Washington, yep. Doing everything you can still do, living like Mel Butler in a retirement home and enjoying it, finding it very pleasurable. They have lots of activities. They have workouts every day of the week for Sunday, and we go to most of them. So,
Do they have pickleball?
I have bridge as soon as we're through here.
How about pickleball?
There's a lot of pickleball in this area.
John, do they have pickleball over at Rossmore?
Yes, there is quite a bit of pickleball here, and they're building a new building for indoor pickleball, right?
Oh my gosh.
At a great expense,
But it's great exercise, and it's something
Apparently
you can
it's
do as
very
you're older.
popular.
Yeah.
Do they have lawn bowling?
Oh, yes, lawn bowling, yes. Mhm.
Walter, how's your recovery progressing?
Really quite well. I'm going out to my first choir practice tonight because the director wanted to make sure I was back by Christmas.
Walter broke a hip here fairly.
Yeah.
Doing of all things, mowing his lawn.
Oh my
Oh, dear.
An electric lawnmower. I was just finishing up and I obviously pushed an accelerator button on the handle and it pulled me away, and that was that for my right hip.
Do you still climb ladders?
No, I'm handling stairs quite well now.
Very good.
Oh, good.
In the rehab, they have a model car that you can sit in, and they can time how long it takes you to get from the accelerator to the brake pedal. 0.8 seconds
Oh, gee.
is the judgment time. And I passed. I haven't driven yet, but I at least can make it in from the accelerator pedal to the brake pedal in legitimate time.
Does anybody still bicycle?
On the
Stationary.
stationary bicycle.
Yeah?
Stationary, yeah.
I do on my stationary bike
Oh,
in the
that
living
doesn't
room.
count.
Much safer.
That
It's
doesn't
called,
count.
it's called the gym. That's where it is.
I gave up biking at 85. I thought that was intelligent.
Hey, I've got to ask John Foyt. John, your last book was published, I know. And do you have a new one planned, or are you just kind of coasting for a while?
No, I do. I'm working on it now, Marge, and it's going to take me a while because it's a very different sort of thing. When I look out my window, I can see a vacant manor here that's been vacant for about 5 years, and so that's the central part of the story as to what's going on in that vacant manor, because there's such a demand for these units here that nothing stays vacant very long, if at all. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm imagining all sorts of people living there and all sorts of people from outer space living there and just having a ball with it.
And are you saying there's a vacant unit, a vacant home?
Yes,
And it's been that way for a long time?
it has been. I met the owner years ago, and he was an old curmudgeon, and he threw me out because I was a Democrat, and he only wanted to talk to Republicans. And I think he must be still alive because they haven't sold the unit to somebody else. So the question is, what's going on? You know, maybe there's 15 grandchildren in Asia somewhere, and they can't all agree on the price. You know, this sort of thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I've read in San Francisco, where they have such a shortage of housing, the number of units, they finally did a census or whatever, the number of units that are held vacant and they are owned, but people simply don't want to rent them or allow anyone to be their neighbor. And
Right.
they're
Yeah.
going to live there as long as they live until they die.
Are they contemplating any taxes or laws to prohibit that?
Yes, they are. I don't think anything's come of it yet.
That's in every tourist city in the world that there are too many empty apartments.
Yes, absolutely.
In any nice city, Paris or wherever. Yes. Now you said something about curmudgeons, John. Aren't all of us men curmudgeons by this time?
Well, I don't know. This guy was really one. He was the capital of curmudgeons, but yeah, I suppose we all are at this point. Yes.
Women can't be curmudgeons?
Well,
I don't know what
are women?
Yeah.
What is the feminine for curmudgeon?
Yeah.
Women are bitches.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
let's do some research on that.
Let's invent a new
Say
word,
that.
curmudgeons.
It's interesting, John, that you have a neighborhood mystery house, because we have one. It's around the corner from us. It's been vacant since it went vacant in the midst of a remodeling in 1990, plus or minus.
We call those ghost houses, and there are a lot of them.
And for a while, it was tied up in a divorce.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the divorce got settled, and then its next door neighbor finally decided to report it as a nuisance because there were people who were squatting in it.
Oh.
And so then the owner put up a no trespassing sign. And most recently, I've seen a pickup truck parked there, just kind of parked 24 hours a day. No evidence of life inside the house, but obviously somebody has been going to it in order to park the pickup truck there. So nobody has any idea, nobody in the neighborhood at least, has any idea as to why, this property, which is now just the land value is something north of $3 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Is just lying vacant.
Oh, they're all over. I have one nearby me it's been empty for 20 years.
Yeah.
By Asians. They're practically never there.
Yeah, there are a lot of houses near me in Seacliff in San Francisco where the shades are down all the time, the curtains are drawn, the people aren't there.
Yeah.
Excuse my voice. They might
Well,
be, I don't know.
Rossmore is very, very tightly managed, and it's not permitted to have vacant places here. It's they police this, but in this particular case, they haven't done so.
Mm.
So that's part of the mystery of it. Yeah.
Well, I
Yes,
think it's in San Francisco, Mary, isn't it so that there's a fair number of residences that have absentee owners, like
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
oh, absolutely.
I
owned
forget
by-
the number, but it was some insane number, like 217,000 what?
It's
Whatever it
really a
was. It was
shame.
a lot, whatever it was. I was shocked.
It was an investment, and a lot of people left Hong Kong, when
Yeah,
the
Exactly.
Chinese toppled the government there and bought house properties here and in Seattle. And anyway, it's too bad.
We had a house here in Sharon Heights that was like a great big, it was built after ours. So much larger, huge big house, never occupied by a resident, but maintained impeccably with some kind of staffing that came and, the outside, the inside, nothing was ever undone. And that went on for about 20 years, just finally sold maybe, what was it, a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
Like finally, it's a home.
I think in Switzerland, there's been a law for a long time that non-residents cannot buy property. And I believe in Vancouver, it's a similar rule. There's such a limited space for housing.
Dorcas, did this heavy rainfall in this last winter, the crop yields in your area?
Well, we hope so. It's not come to fruition yet. They'll be ready later
Can you-
on.
Fruition is a great word.
Can you tell at this stage be having on hanging, by March or April or so?
Yeah, there's fruit out there. Some of it is on the new trees that we planted after the fire went through. So, yeah, but they're young trees, so they don't have a lot yet of fruit.
I should say that Stanford has developed a farm on Stanford's land. That's a number of acres for the students to plant things.
Yes.
I just walked through there, and they planted all kinds of persimmon trees, which are full of persimmons.
Oh, yum.
Mike, what do you do with tons of persimmons? What do they
Persimmon
make?
pudding.
Do they make pudding or what?
Persimmon bread.
Persimmon bread, persimmon cookies, You persimmon. can dry them. They're good.
I don't
dry.
know why they don't plant something more tasty.
You don't have to worry about people stealing a lot of persimmons.
No, they apparently have so much produce, they supply them to the dining room.
Now, there are two of you or three of you that are in a senior facility. Are there any people gardening in your locations?
Yeah, in Rossmore, they have a whole area gardened off, and you have a little plot there and you can garden. Yes, it's very popular.
How about you, Mel?
No, nobody's doing that way now. It's a good idea, I think. I'll see what I can do with it.
How about you, Jack?
No, we don't have any little plots like here. A lot of my friends do. They have pea patches all over Seattle.
Do they grow
people
persimmons?
They'll have a lot, but you divide it into 15 or 20 little pea patches. People love doing that. Do any of you know Martin Trebe from 2 years before? Marty Trebe was a beta 2 years before us.
I do. Isn't
Yeah.
he's in my class. He's
Yes.
on my Zoom calls.
Yeah. Well, we're playing bridge in a few minutes.
Okay, do you do that online?
Yes.
Oh,
I have to find out about that someday.
Well, give me a call and I'll tell you. There's two. Well, you just go on to Bridge online, but BB&O or Trickster, either one of them. Trickster is a little simpler, but BB&O is for those really good players.
And can you play with whoever you want, or,
Yes,
or
you
do
can
they
have-
provide players for you?
They provide players, they provide robots, and but you can take a partner with you. And I go on sometimes all by myself, and Marty and Sue are playing bridge together with two robots, and then I get invited into their
Oh, okay.
Force
Is
them.
that called Trickster, did you say?
Trickster.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna look into that.
Okay.
Okay, now,
it's-
Jack, you're doing this on Zoom. Do you just ever just get
No, no,
together?
no, we don't do it on Zoom.
Zoom.
We just do it on the Trickster website.
Okay, but you're not with 3 other people at a table?
Yes,
You are.
yes.
I don't understand.
Well, okay, there are 4 people on the website playing bridge.
It's not Zoom, Marge, but it's another computer-based host that allows you to see each other's faces.
It's a virtual table.
Pat,
Yeah.
other programs other than Zoom have a setup similar to this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Anybody?
Better Bridge does it.
Let me give you a couple
In
of
fact,
items.
there goes my alarm.
Okay, well, you have a good bridge time.
Okay,
Enjoy.
well, I'll
And
see you
Happy New
later.
Year, Merry Christmas, because we won't be getting together till next year now.
Really?
Yeah.
Say hello for Marty for me, will you?
What's that?
Say hello to Marty for me.
Okay, Mel, I will.
Do all you people do crossword puzzles? Have you ever complete them?
Oh yeah, my wife does the all week long on the New York Times.
Oh wow.
I
Oh,
do
boy.
Wordle. Does anybody do Wordle?
Yes,
Every
yes,
day.
yeah.
I love Wordle because it only takes, what, 5-10 minutes?
But then there's
It's done for the day.
But then March, there's Lingle with six
Lingo?
Lingle
Lingle, okay.
with 6
By
squares.
the way, the
Oh,
New York
okay.
Times
Hello.
publishes the final
Yes, Jack.
Jeopardy question every morning. So she gets on with her kids, and they all get on together and talk about what they think the answer is to the final Jeopardy question, and then they compete for it. And they got it.
Excuse me, is Lingle part of the New York Times also?
I don't know. I
Oh,
think
okay.
so. I just go online and there it is. I
I'll
put
find
in Lingle.
I'll find it.
Another one is called Waffle.
So is anybody traveling for Christmas?
well,
We're going to the Presidio in San Francisco. And
Oh,
we rent a house. We've done it every year now for several years. And it has 4 or 5 bedrooms. And it's just been wonderful. We go to theater and we go out to dinner with the family. We go on hikes. We're not doing much hiking, but we go on nice little rides to various locations that are nice to see. And it's just been wonderful. So it's kind of a mini trip, but it's really,
Right.
really nice. Yeah.
You have those-
Chrissy Field developed.
You're back, Ann.
It's right on Chrissy Field. I mean, it's we walk, well, we're allowed to bring dogs. So 2 of our kids bring their dogs and we walk to Chrissy Field. Terry and I drive and then we meet them there. We just walk a little bit out on the beach with them. And it's just a very neat thing to do. The guys in our family play at the Presidio golf course and they have all those art exhibits, the outside art exhibits from, what's his name, Terry, the famous artist?
Goldworthy, who did the dry stream at Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Goldsworthy.
Goldsworthy.
Andy.
That's it, yeah.
The old San Francisco.
And then if it rains, we go to the museums and we go to a different place for dinner every night. We used to go to Tahoe, and then it became too hard for the grandchildren. They all had jobs. They couldn't join us. So this way they can join us for whatever they can get away from their jobs. And sometimes they're just there for a day or 2 or 1 or 2 nights for dinner, but it's really turned out to be a nice alternative.
Salesforce has a 5.5 acre park at the center, and you go up above. It's like 3 stories above. Has anybody ever
Oh,
been?
yes. That's fabulous. It's down at the not
Transportation Center, right?
Yes, Transportation Center.
If you haven't and have a chance, you should do that because it's fascinating.
We've done that.
We all know Palm Drive.
Yeah.
The orientation of Palm Drive is magnetic north-south, magnetic north.
Magnetic.
Really?
And there's another road there that it's pretty well obscured now by a road that was bordered by eucalyptus trees. It went from about where Governor's Corner is now down to where the one edge of the shopping center. That was actually true north. So that we have these two roads that Senator Stanford created, I guess, had something to do with both of them. One of them's on magnetic north and one of them is on true north. There's a little, Don can tell us exactly where it is, but it's on campus. It's in near where the Hoover Tower is. It's in the ground, and it shows you the orientation of true north.
Oh, yes.
All of us who thought of Stanford as being north, south, east, and west, it's actually not oriented in that fashion.
I always called it Stanford West and Stanford North. So that's what it seems to be when you're on campus, even though it's not quite right. The road you're talking about, I think, was Governor's Lane. With
Yes.
Old eucalyptus on both sides, many of which survive. They're 150 years old and they're just tremendous. They stretch all the way from the old mansion all the way up to Lake La Vida.
You know, Marge, you were talking about San Francisco. Has anybody seen the thing that they're doing with we would call them gingerbread houses, but they're made out of sugar at the hotel on Union Square?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
St.
about 3
Francis.
stories tall. And there are several places around that have those as well, the hotel lobbies and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you have seen pictures of them, but they're just absolutely magnificent. And of course, the lights around the Embarcadero, I can see those from my dining room and kitchen window looking straight across. And I just love that because they're just on from November until the first part of January.
Okay, before you sign off, just
Have a good practice tonight, Walt. Sing well.
Thank you. Regards.
Oh my goodness.
Marge, you're in touch with Dick Kelson. He's been
Yes.
married too with
Yeah,
Lynn.
they're good friends.
I just talked to Dick. I asked him if he were coming to the reunion because they live nearby.
Yeah.
And I guess he did not get there, right, for your
Well,
class.
he did, but he didn't come to our reunion. He went to Lynn's reunion.
Oh, got it.
Oh, because they told me that they had family coming and that's why they didn't come.
Yeah. They did all right. That family, his family that was coming was his wife, who's also a Stanford alum, Lynn Borders. And I got, when I turned in my column for the Stanford Magazine class notes, I had mentioned that he didn't come because of family, as you had told me, Patty.
That's what I heard.
I got the pushback saying, "Oh no. The column for Lynn Borders' class says, oh no, he was there, but he was there with her, not with us."
Oh.
We make our choices.
I should tell you, Jim, that I'm elected myself to be the class correspondent of my biz school class.
Well, a couple of bits of trivia about the reunion. There were just 13 of us from our class who actually were there in person, but 3 of them were biz school grads. 3 had undergraduate majors in civil engineering. So all of which goes to show that if you want to achieve longevity, go to biz school or go to the School of Engineering, one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let's have Bill Fernandez give us his final
Okay, I'll wait. Sure.
okay. Do you want to hold it? Okay, Bill.
Yeah.
Class of 19, Stanford class of 1953. Ekwe Kalani. Oh my Kakamai. Oh my Kapono. Oh my Ole Pilikia. Me Kilo Pumihana, Stanford, Ohio, 1953. Me Kilo Pumihana, Me Kilo Pumihana, Stanford Class of 1953. May the Lord bless each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Merry
blessed Christmas.
Bill.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And
Yeah,
Merry
carry on.
Christmas.
Happy New Year. See you next year.
Thank you, Patty, for getting us
Thanks,
together.
Fran.
Yeah.
Would
Thanks,
not be
Marge.
an official
Thanks.
meeting of our class without.
And Marge, thank you.
It would not be an official meeting of our class without Bill's blessings at the end. And all of you at the beginning.
Okay, I'm going to shut it down.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Go on for a long time.
Bye-bye, everybody.